Mm.
And we are live. We back. We back, Chiefs Kingdom. Welcome to another episode of Kingdom Cast. This is your host, formerly known as Bad Luck Chuck. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share all your social media platforms. And if you're watching this on Twitter, don't forget to retweet and hit the like button so you can let people know where you're watching it from. Well, we got a sub off the bench here. Introduce the fellas here.
Six man. Let's go.
Yeah, we definitely gonna call you the six man because you host and tell the truth. So D Mac, what's up, man? What's up to the original?
What's up, man? Just call me Microwave Mac, dog. We'll come off the bench. You get just a few buckets and get it going.
JR Swish.
Yes, sir.
JR Swish.
Always on time.
And then of course our guy Bug at the bottom screen. Bug, it's been a minute, man. So how have you been, brother?
Good, man. Feeling good. I've been like I said in that gym, getting my mind right. I'm ready, man. I'm almost getting I'm almost over the Super Bowl, so I'm
Almost.
feeling good. I'm ready to talk football some more.
Yeah, I mean, for those who aren't familiar, Bug, he's Ramadan Bug. People be calling Kyrie Ramadan Kai. Yeah, Ramadan Bug. So that's why he been kind of gone, you know what I'm saying? But it's great to have him back, man.
Good to be back, man. Shout out country. Year 18. I'm a little disappointed he ain't here today, but
Mm.
I'll see you next week, country.
Yeah, he'll be back. It's rare that country, misses the show. The man be working hard, man. He be busting his ass. So
For sure, for sure.
all right, so let's go and get to the breaking news of the day, man. We bringing more old friends back to the organization. A guy, Mike Edwards, he returns to the kingdom on a 1 year deal to help bolster up that safety depth. I'm not mad at it. It's a pretty solid safety room, man. I mean, you just add along with Brian Cook, Jaden Hicks, Chamari, Deion Bush. So I know I'm missing somebody right now, man. No, I'm missing somebody in that safety room right now.
Not the
Smart
look.
Connor.
Now he
That
said Connor. He said
yeah,
Connor, did he? Yeah.
yeah. I said Connor.
Okay.
I said
Connor
Connor.
Cook Hicks. I mean, Deion Bush is assuming he's going back on the practice squad.
Are we?
Yeah,
Is Nazi going to safety?
Is he? Hopefully, that'd be nice
that's
to
a
allow him to
mystery
play his
right now.
regular position. That'd be cool.
That is
But
a
yeah,
mystery. Sure.
yeah, and obviously we're bringing back the old friend, Mr. Mike Edwards. We bounced around a little bit
But no, I
last
got all
year.
the names. I got all the names.
Yeah,
My
you
fault.
got
So
it's them top three.
so yeah, man. So like, let's go ahead and start you off, D Mac, since you was ready to hop into it. So D Mac, what's your thoughts on the Chiefs bringing that Mike Edwards?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think that they could use another body as far as the room was concerned. I was comfortable if they wanted to go into the draft with kind of those three guys and then maybe assess it after the draft. The fact that they kind of preemptive brought Mike Edwards back again, veteran presence. He obviously spent the year here within the system, understands his role from that standpoint. I think that what he brings to the table is a little bit different than everybody in that room because he is a little bit more of a free safety type of guy. And that was honestly initially why I was happy when we brought him back or brought him over the first time. And I think we saw that worked out pretty well here. So the reality that we're now going to have him here be that veteran presence, kind of, what his role looks like is going to be interesting. And obviously depends on kind of what the other guys will look like. We assume that it's going to be Cook and Hicks as kind of the starting guys, but we don't know where Shamari Connor's going to factor into that. Obviously, we don't know where now Edwards is going to, and we don't know where Najee might. That's fine. We don't know where Najee Johnson might end up factoring into that too. So all those things are up in the air, but I think that bringing him back is similar to what we've seen Veach do really across the entirety of the roster, which was get this roster ready to play a game, week one before you go into the draft. So that way you can take best player on your board and continue to add talent now into the future from that standpoint.
So, Bud, what's your thoughts on the Chiefs bringing back Mike Edwards?
Yeah, I'm agreeing with D Mac on a lot of that. I wouldn't have been mad if we brought Justin Reed back. I understood that we didn't, but I did think that we needed to get a veteran back there. I know I was saying earlier they were saying Juan Thornhill. They was looking at him, so it kind of felt like they was always trying to get somebody that was familiar with the system and to bring them back. So I'm cool with that. Like you said, Mike Edwards is something different. He's a free safety, and he has ball skills that nobody on our team, I think, has. So I'm always here for somebody to get some turnovers. Veteran. I know we're not really paying them that much, so I'm cool with it. I think we needed to get some, get some more people back there that's been there. I know Beach like to go young on the whole D line, but I like to get a veteran sometimes. So get a veteran back there. He know the system, good leader. It's not like you breaking the bank. It's not like this is gonna stop Hicks's growth or stop anybody's growth. I think it'll work. I'm cool with it.
I personally think this helps Hicks grow even more. Honestly, 'cause, I mean, Hicks, he seems like he kind of like that ball hogger type of guy, and Mike Evers, he's a ball hogger type of safety
Mhm.
himself. So I'm sure Mike's going to help out in that room. He's going to help him with his growth and development, and Jaden Hicks is just going to get better and better when he finally gets the opportunities. To play full snaps. So I'm not mad at this move at all. Like we all in agreement. Mike Evers knows the system. He's gonna help bring in some input to that room. And what's crazy is that Mike Evers did want to come back here, but the money wasn't right at the time. But sometimes the grass ain't green on the other side.
Tyreek.
And man, I wasn't about to go there with Tyreek, but
That boy begging to get out of that contract. Chris, what's popping, man? What's going on, man?
yep, he's back, man. So yeah, man. Speaking of the Chiefs off season, we're just gonna go ahead and just try to give our own off season grades so far. Pre-draft and stuff. I'm just gonna go around the room here. D Mac, you start out first. So I'm gonna reverse the order here. So Bug, from what you've seen so far, what you think? Give yourself a grade on what the Chiefs have done this off season.
D-Mac, why you smiling like that?
I
Why you doing- Don't
didn't
do
say
that.
anything.
D-Mac, don't do that, man. What's up, DJ? Don't do that, man. Don't
I
do
didn't
that,
say
bro.
anything. I just smiled.
Don't do that face like that, bro. I know you, man. Don't do me like that, man.
I was just trying to do that. Just listen. I promise. Just listen.
I'm gonna go like a good C plus.
Mm.
I think it was CJ or D-Mac. One of y'all said this earlier. I do like what they did on defense. I kind of feel like we brought a lot of people back. Uh, I love getting Charles Dominigue back. I, lo- I I know people don't like Bolton, but I like getting Bolton back. I think that would have just created a bigger hole. I still think we got some holes though. Like we still can get another pass rusher. I think uh, the corner situation. I'm, I'm I think we got better at corner, and it's gonna help with McDuffie. Now he can go slide a little bit, and you can keep Watson and Chris on the outside. But I still think we could have did a little bit more. But defense, I'll give them a cool grade. But when we get to offense, we got rid of Joe Tooney. I know I ain't been on here in a minute. I wasn't a big fan of that at all. Getting a draft pick for next year, I just think he's too good of a player to do that. You giving Trey Smith 25 million. Shout out CJ. You giving Trey Smith 25 million a year. I don't think he's that type of player. Uh you trusting Kingsley to start next year? Like out the gate, I'm a little worried about that. Um no, we did make some cool moves. I like the running back we got. Like you said, Rasheed Rice is gonna be back this year, so our receiving core should be better. But that O line, man. I just don't understand after that Super Bowl how that O line looked for you to get rid of your best O lineman and play one of your worst O linemen, making him start with really no competition. It is early. I know we got to do the draft and stuff, but yeah, I definitely think we could have did a little bit more on that offensive line. I know me and D-Mac then went back and forth on this about how they could have addressed the left tackle position, and I understand that, but man, you putting a lot of eggs on that, man. If he's not above average, like Country said, man, we're gonna be in trouble all year. Like it's not gonna be a band-aid fix unless you go get Donovan Smith or DJ Humphreys back, and obviously you're not even that comfortable with them, or you would have made that move. So, man, it's all gonna come down to the left tackle for real, man. If that dude is not If he's not above average, we're gonna have some uncomfortable conversations this year, I think. So
All right, so we're gonna put a pause on this
Ooh,
subject right now. What's up with a gang member?
gang members only. What
What's
we
up,
doing?
CJ? How you doing, dog?
It's thirsty.
All right, CJ. So you kind of missed it. We're gonna go back to Mike Edwards a little bit. So I mean, what was your thoughts on the Chiefs bring back Mike Edwards in the safety room?
We mentioned that, I think, like our very, very first show of the free agency. I mentioned bringing him back because, like Book said, I wanted him back last year. So obviously a guy that's been in big moments, been a turnover prone guy his whole career in Tampa. I know he went to Buffalo last year to try to just play ball for another year. So I love him back there because now you have legit four safety rotation. So now if a guy goes down due to injury, you have another guy that can come in and play right away. You don't got to worry about changing the formula. So I think this actually helps Jaden Hicks now because now he can kind of play wherever we need him to. He can play in the box. He can play deep third, whatever we need him to be, because we know Mike you can put him back in free and he's solid. You ain't never got to worry about him. So Chamari, he's going to be moved around a lot. So I think this kind of helps him and Jaden kind of be kind of like the chess pieces and moving wherever we needed to based off the matchup. So if we're playing a team with bigger tight ends, bigger receivers, you have Jaden and Chamari, you can kind of throw at either one of those guys. So I love it for those. Now you can let B. Cook and Mike Edwards play back and kind of let those two roam around. So, and we need that athletic ability given we lost Justin and we don't have that much speed in the linebacker room outside of guys like Drew, who's getting older. So, no, I love it. I think it's gives us more flexibility. This DB room now is better than it was this point last year after we traded Snead. So now we just got to figure out how we're going to build more depth. So, but right now, I love the DB room.
Absolutely,
I can agree with that.
But you do agree with that, even with Justin Reed moving on?
Absolutely. I mean, because
the secondary, right? What you asking, D-Man?
Oh, yeah. No, I was saying that you agree with that, even with Justin Reed moving on.
Yeah, but remember last year I was very down on the secondary to start the year. Right. Then Jalen Watson ended up playing better than I expected, and then he got hurt.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, I think a healthy Jalen Watson. Yes, I definitely think secondary is better this year.
And you're going to get the best version of Jalen Watson this year, too. He in contract year. You see a guy like Christian Fulton get signed, he's coming to take your spot. So we're going to get the best version of J-Watt for sure. And he's coming off injury, like Book said. So I expect J-Watt to come out with his hair on fire, especially during training camp.
Contract years undefeated. Shout out to Rez.
And I think our worst secondary players is compared to last year. When you look at it, like we played Najee Johnson a lot last year, bro.
Exactly.
Like
Joshua
him and Josh Williams. There you go. I'm
Josh
about to go there.
Yep.
Like we playing them that many snaps.
We played a lot of Shamari Connor in the slot, a role that he shouldn't be in.
Exactly.
Everybody's in a natural spot now. So
for those reasons that you just said, and CJ, that's why I think secondary is better this year.
Yeah, for sure.
At this point.
And I think it's only going to get better with depth because we're going to take a DB every year. That's what we do.
For sure, getting a DB.
We're going to take more DBs. So yeah, I think the DB room's in a great spot. Nobody's overstressing themselves now. Now we can afford to naturally take injuries, and if it happens, we can handle it for sure.
Yeah, getting DBs ain't never really been an issue with us.
No,
it's like we just mentioned with Shamari. Like Shamari, he was pretty much playing out of position for the most part last year, playing that slot role.
He didn't complain though; he just kept playing.
Right. Right. That's what the coaches asked him to step in that role, and it didn't turn out well, but it is what it is. I don't think we have to worry about that as long as the guys are healthy for this season. All right, so back to the offseason grades. D-Mac, what's your offseason grade so far on the Chiefs headed to the draft?
So I have it at a B plus. I think that Boogie C plus is perfectly reasonable. And I think it really does come down to how you kind of weigh these things. And then also kind of your expectations going into it. So the one thing that I was afraid of kind of going to this free agency was overextending yourself, because I don't think that this was a good free agency class. I think that they would have been better served bringing some of these guys back. Specifically, at the top of that list for me was Hollywood Brown and Charles Omenihu, because I think Hollywood Brown fits what you wanted to do, and Charles Omenihu definitely fits what you want to do. And I still think he's the second best pure pass rusher on this roster currently. And I thought both of those guys were going to be coming in a bargain, which ultimately they did. And I think you got Hollywood Brown, I think, for technically the same deal, but really less than that, because their incentives are now not likely to be earned and not on the cap currently. And obviously Charles Omenihu came in for less than you were paying him last year. So that, first and foremost, I think were good aspects of it. The Christian Fulton signing, for the reasons that we just laid out, makes the DB room DB room better than it was last year, in my opinion. And that's, again, I don't want to sound like I'm just like ignoring the fact that they lost Justin Reed, who was somebody that was a high snap getter and a key contributor, I'll say, to this defense. But it is somebody that I do believe that they can replace. And so obviously they brought back Nick Bolton, who obviously I can have some minor disagreements on what the value for him was. I think he's more of a $12 million linebacker. If the hidden value of him is that C. Spagnuolo feels completely comfortable in calling his defense, and we haven't seen miscommunications with him on the field as far as that's concerned for the years that he's been calling the defense, then that's fine. I can definitely live with that reality as well, and I'm cool with bringing him back for the money that we did. The question mark does really come down, and their ancillary moves, Jerry Tillery, obviously bringing in Mike Edwards now for the depth as well. Elijah Mitchell, dice roll for cheap just to bring him into the running back room because he has the athleticism that he does. Again, it does really, like, what will come down to this is the offensive line aspect of it. The thing that I guess you're talking about Giannis's stat line.
Yeah, my fault.
Like, no, you're good. While CJ was
watching the game, but I'm like, damn,
20 assists is crazy. Okay.
No, I understand it.
Letting Giannis get 20 assists is crazy. I ain't gonna lie. He don't do
Wait,
nothing.
whoa. He got 20.
He don't do nothing.
He got 37, 20, and 17.
So 20 assists.
Yeah, that's
20.
Crazy.
I never thought Giannis would get 20. He ain't Trae Young. This is Giannis we talking about, bro. He don't pass the ball like that.
First time in NBA history. Yeah, that's crazy, bro.
That's
my fault, man.
For Giannis, that's crazy. Anybody else, I'd be cool there for him.
I don't blame you with me because that's how I reacted too.
Look, and this is how you know the Sixers have a G League roster. But back to the subject at hand.
They committed to the tank. Shout out to them, man.
Jesus Christ.
No, so I was gonna say, so the thing that obviously prevents it from being an A, in my opinion, is the offensive line. And so it's a nuanced conversation about how exactly to go about that. I was somebody coming to the offseason. I thought that, hey, I think that Kingsley should be given the shot again at left tackle. I think that if you felt like Trey Smith was going to walk, cool. If you wanted to tag and trade him, also cool. I did not really see trading Joe Thuney. I did not necessarily love the package that they got back for Joe Thuney. I know people will make their arguments about the age and the contract things. I think that all pros performing at all pro levels should at least get you a day 2 pick. Maybe I'm naive in saying that. In my opinion, I think you could have made it work if you wanted to. They chose to go the younger route. They chose to go the younger route and moving Kingsley Suamataia inside. And then also the Jerry Smith, obviously, decision tag him, who I still expect him to get extended. So the way they decided to go was not how I wanted to go. And that's going to be a knock from my perspective because the entire left side of the offensive line in signing Jalen Moore, even though I see why they would sign him, I understand the bet that they would make, is a complete question mark because he's coming into a system that is very different than the one he did with the Niners, because he doesn't have the traditional arm length that you look for, because he's only a good athlete, not a great one. So all of those things combined, I understand why that entire left side is a question mark, because Kingsley's playing a position he's never played, and Jalen Moore's playing a position that he's only played a handful of snaps at as far as the NFL level is concerned. So that's going to hold it down from that standpoint. But the reason why it's maybe not knocking it down as far is because I don't think that there was a cleaner pathway that they wanted to go that would have made things really sure if this was, the budget that we're working in. And also they did not overextend themselves, which I thought was a really important piece, because giving Dan Moore the astronomical amount that Tennessee gave him was not going to be an acceptable path forward, in my opinion, because I don't think he was worth that amount of money. Given, Morgan Moses, whatever the Patriots gave him, et cetera, I didn't want them to do that. So the alternative options were limited. So that's why I still give Veach a little bit of credit from that standpoint. Everywhere outside of that, I like what they've done. It's just about, we're going to see what that offensive line ultimately looks like. And realistically, the offensive line in the short term is really a 2025 specific issue. The long term of the roster is still in a good place. It's just, hey, what are you going to do if the left side doesn't work out?
Fair assessment. CJ, it's on you, man. Give us your offseason grade so far.
Definitely a B. Would have been an A, obviously, if we would have been able to keep Joe Thuney. I get it. The age makes sense. I am with Boog. I understand, like, an all-pro guy should have got paid. It's just the age didn't really make sense. And I mean, from a big picture standpoint, I appreciate everything Joe Thuney did for us. Took us to, obviously, 3 straight Super Bowls. He helped us when we were at the worst point ever. after playing Tampa Bay in 2020 and having one of the worst O-line performances you've ever seen and took us to where we are now. So, and y'all heard me when I said it in the chat, we've literally had 5 different starting left tackles. That's insane to me. And the fact that we're still even at this point is asinine because teams can't even win 2 games in a row without their starting left tackle. We've been to 5 Super Bowls in the last 7 years without the same starting left tackle. So it makes us appreciate what we had with Eric Fisher even more for all these years in his time, even though it was short-lived. Going forward, I mean, the best case scenario, it just sucks, Boog, because the free agency class left tackle class ain't good, and the draft class left tackle class ain't good. It's just the worst thing ever because neither solution really is there for us at this current point in time. So I understand why they went Jalen Moore, gave him a short 2-year deal to see, hey, if he does outplay it, we'll bring him back for another year and extend him. If not, we can move on and see what the next year's class looks like. So it just sucks for us because the timeline doesn't make sense. Like Joe Tooney's an aging player, even though he's not showing any ages of slowing down, but you've got to be one step ahead, especially when you're in a timeline with Mahomes because he's not showing any sign of not being the best quarterback in football like he's been the last 7-8 years. So I think the move for Tooney was like a forward year move, not this year. I think we're definitely going to try to solidify left tackle in the 2026 class, which there's some guys that I think are a little bit better. But overall, yeah, I think a B is a solid A+ on defense. I think we did everything I wanted to do. Brought back Nuke Bolton, you brought back Charles, added cornerback depth. Guys are going to play better for contract years. Drew Tranquil's still here. I love the Tillery move. So yeah, everything on defense. Yeah, for sure. Everything we needed to do.
We could have got another linebacker. I know everybody wanted Willie Gay back. I would have been cool with that too. I wouldn't mind us going linebacker in this draft too. Bring somebody else there.
We got like 3 guys on our list for sure.
Yeah, there's still time for that.
That's what I'm saying. I think, and this is a part of the Mike Edwards bringing him back thing. I still think that there are very specific spots. We discussed safety as being one of them this week on Tell the Truth specifically, where you can still add depth. Linebacker being a 4th guy where get a little bit of athleticism or just a veteran presence can help in that sense because you're a little bit thin behind that top 3 in that standpoint. Unfortunately, I think you got pretty lucky as far as Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquil's health last year was concerned. And then the other place for me, because I think that you generally, because you got Tillery, because you got Mike Pinnell and Chris Jones, we assume we're going to add a defensive lineman, if not multiple ones to this room. The other one really would be tackle. And the reason why I say that is, again, we're talking about the DJ Humphreys of the world, the Donovan Smiths of the world, the Jedrick Wills Jr. of the world. If you get past the draft and they are willing to come in and be depth pieces, I think that would still make sense to add back to this room, assuming that you don't end up going out and drafting one. So, there's still places that you can add places or add pieces if you want to, but, to CJ's point, it's insulated for what you're going to go to, week 1 with.
And I think this Bay forces, honestly, we've been saying this thing for the last 4 or 5 years and banging our head against the wall. If you don't run the ball now, Boog, I don't know what more is going to make you be a running more football team now.
CJ.
I'm just saying, but like, there's nothing more that we saw one
do it, man.
Hey,
it's April. Don't do that to yourself, man.
No, I'm just saying, Boog, like, if you're going to look yourself in the mirror, you saw Wanye what that experiment did. You saw the Kings experiment and what that did. I think Jalen Moore can be an average left tackle. Yes, that is true. I think D-Mac's correct. He can't be that. But to Boog's point, if the left guard beside him is not playing at an above average level, then what does it matter? So all in all, to help both of them do their job at a high level or an above average level, which is expected, you have to run the football. So if you're not going to do that now, if losing an all-pro left guard and losing a starting left tackle don't show you now you need to put the ball in the running back hands more, I don't know what more is going to happen because you're going to have the same experience like we did with Wanye playing the Raiders, pointing and Pat. And that's the part that pissed me off that game about that the most. Pat, you see your ass getting sacked every play, and you the one ain't telling them to run the football. You know you can change the play, right? But back to the point.
So, I guess in some way, because this is what the choice came down to, choosing Trey Smith over, Joe Tooney in this case. If he is somebody that you decide to build your run game around, which I think he has the talent to do so, especially when you have Creed Humphrey next to him.
Trey's an amazing run blocker. So
right. Is that the argument to be able to say, well, then that's a positive from that standpoint? And it's all projection because we don't know what Kingsley is going to look like a left guard outside of what we saw in week 18 last year. But there are movement skills that come with him as far as reach blocks, being able to pull out in space. He does have the ability to do those things because he's that level of athlete. So there's usefulness from that standpoint. I have question marks about his power moving forward. We're just going to have to see how that ends up working out. That's not to say he's not a strong person. He is a strong human being. But, it's going to be fascinating because if there comes with a market change in the way that you call this offense to make it easier on your offensive linemen, particularly the left side of that offensive line, that'd be nice. Will it happen?
So hold on. Let me just make sure. I'm sorry, Chuck. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, man.
Go ahead, bud.
But you muted yourself.
Oh, come back.
Yeah, unmute yourself, brother.
There you go.
It starts.
There you go.
Can y'all hear me? So
Yep.
y'all are into this Trey Smith. Not that this is what y'all wanted, but y'all understand it. Since that's
Dang.
Uh-oh.
They snipe bug.
Andy
Hit him with the jaw. He hit him with the jaw, Chuck.
Bow!
Bow! They sniped my dog bug. John Morant. Bow! Sniped his ass. They sniped my dog bug. Oh, he back. Yeah.
there you go. My fault.
He about the AK.
He about the AK with the.
Straight about the AK. Oh,
He hit him with the John Morant. Hit him with the John Morant.
that is crazy.
Oh, my God.
Bug, you back, man?
Yeah, my I don't know what was going on, but so
All right.
hold on. We cool with keeping Trey Smith because Trey Smith's strengths is run blocking. So now we saying maybe Andy is gonna change his philosophy to go with that. We know he's not gonna run the ball like that. Why are we doing this to? It's April. Why are
Well,
you doing this to yourself?
That's why I said if. But if
was a
again, if it was a fifth, but you have to. I'm trying to follow the logic.
What else you want me to say, bud?
If you're choosing,
I don't know
if
what more you want me to say.
If you're choosing to say that Trey Smith is a valuable piece to the level of we are bringing him back at a contract that is going
$22
to
million
be at the top of the guard market, which I'll get into some cap numbers later on to have a little bit of context for it. But still, at the top of the guard market, we believe that his run game blocking is at a level that is so valuable. We need to keep him here and allow him to continue to develop from being a solid pass blocker to a better, a good, or possibly great one if he continues to work on things in the future. But yeah, you got to. If you're not going to take advantage of it, then you shouldn't spend this level of money on this particular player. This is something why when we were talking about Trey Smith possibly hitting the market, I was like, yeah, the Bears go and get him. Guess what? That means that you have Trey Smith next to Darnell Wright. The entire right side of your offensive line is built to be a dominant run blocking aspect of your game that you can build play action shots off of that Ben Johnson likes to do. That would have made sense as a pairing. Obviously, they went the Joe Thuney route, which Joe Thuney's still an all-pro in my opinion, so it's not going to be a bad thing. But it's those things. So if you take advantage of it within your scheme, then it makes sense. If you get Kingsley Suamataia and his athleticism on the move in the run game, in the screen game, those things make sense. Obviously, we know what Creed Humphrey can do. Then those things can bear out. If you don't, and you continue to drop back 40, 50 times a game, and you put Jalen Moore in that situation, then you can have some real issues with your offense. And so that's why right now it's a complete question mark, because I don't know what the system is going to look like, because at a certain point, these players have specific limitations to their game, and the system has to protect them from those limitations. Otherwise, you have a situation where Wanya Morris is getting killed, Kingsley Suamataia is getting killed because you're leaving him on the island with Trey Hendrickson in his second career game, or Joe Thuney with short arms is getting killed, and Mike Caliendo is getting killed too. So you got to be able to fix the system in addition to obviously getting players generally to try and I don't even want to put it as band-aids, but solutions at the problem that may not be premium, aspects of it.
Yeah, I mean,
It is what it is, bro.
It might be band-aids. I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't want to disrespect them, but yeah.
And
at the same time, I think having 145 back on the field, Rashid Zay and Hollywood, will allow us to have more of our quick game. It'll help the old line out a little bit for sure.
Having a running back.
I agree with that.
All due respect to Pacheco being hurt.
The running back for sure.
Having a running back worth a damn also will help too. And all due respect to what
all things that we can fix in the draft.
Who we got at running back?
Well, he's talking about in the draft.
Yeah, the draft. It's got to be.
Okay. You said okay.
Somebody that we can get more. Having that explosiveness on the outside and in the backfield will help the left side, given the fact quick game, run game, keep them off balance.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Like I said, I like the running back we picked up, but we definitely need to still draft the running back. We all agree about that, though, right?
Absolutely.
And it's the draft to do it.
100%.
That makes complete sense for us.
Yes.
All right.
Especially since Elijah Mitchell been out for so long. I mean, there's no guarantee that he's on.
He may not guarantee to make the roster realistically.
Right. So, all right, but for me, man, I'm probably leaning more towards CJ and give it like it's a straight B for now. the left side of the offensive line is a wild card because I mean it. I mean, to your point, but I mean, Jalen Moore is unproven. Like this will be like the first season, if healthy, he'll start a full season. So we're gonna see how that goes with him. Yeah, red light special for sure. Um, but and then also with Kingsley, man, he's moving over to left guard. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, this is about to be the first year with him playing left guard, and this is gonna be interesting to see how it turns. I mean, a lot of people gonna be paying attention to that on that offensive line. And look, I've exhausted us needing to run the ball so many times on the show. It's like I'm at the point where I just don't need to do it anymore because at the end of the day, man, we still got Matt Nagy, AB Reed are being the brains of this offense, and it's just like it is what
sound
it is, man.
sound like 40 passing attempts to me, Chuck.
Right. I'm just saying, like, I'm from the show me stage. Y'all just got to show me y'all willing to change y'all philosophy a little bit to help this team. So that's just where I'm at with it. I do like us acquiring Christian Fulton and Jerry Tillery from the Chargers. I mean, familiarity with the division, even though Fulton was pretty much new when he got to the Chargers, like he wasn't even there that long. So, but Fulton was a guy I liked in the draft a few years ago. Like,
LSU.
yep. So that was a guy that I wanted the Chiefs to go after at that time. But we took Clyde instead, and Clyde, shout out to Clyde, man. He was a Super Bowl champ. He contributed to the team. It just wasn't the
Yeah.
first round type of deal. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. Um,
And some folks want to take Cam Scatterbo to go with. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that ain't it.
yeah, don't get me started with Cam Scandalo. Yeah, but speaking of running backs, man, Kareem, the Chiefs get him another year. Hopefully gets another crack at the Super Bowl, man, because it would be great for him to get a ring with us on his way out. I mean, I don't know how long he has left in the NFL, but I'm just glad that Kareem's still get to live out his dream. So,
Mhm.
but defensively, I do like us bringing Charles back. I was never worried about Charles leaving the Chiefs. Like I knew what his mark was going to be. I'm like, he gonna come back to us
Me
eventually.
too.
You just put on a show for Twitter right now. So there's that. Nick Bolton, really smart player, high IQ player. He has, yes, people will get on him about his limitations and pass coverage and all that, but there's not many linebackers in the NFL who can really cover like that anyway, as
Yeah.
far as like these tight ends go. Because like the game has changed over the years, man. Like to where defense is damn near obsolete, and we about to get to the subject of these rule changes. Speaking of that, so overall, man, I don't mind the Chiefs. Bringing most of the band back. I mean, I kind of get it. Injuries did hamper this team. We did get to the bowl in spite of that, but Brett Veach and the front office, they feel like this team was actually healthy throughout the year. The things might have been different in the Super Bowl, but I don't know, man. The Eagles, they just came with it that night. So I'll give it a straight B for now, and we'll see how it goes with the draft. So
Yeah, and so I guess an interesting question. So when we were talking about this in the group chat, I kind of was like, yeah, I mean, I think that if the draft goes a certain way, it could be higher. If the draft goes a certain way, could it be lower?
Mhm.
And I guess because we all have our reasoning for why it could be higher, and obviously running backs top of the list. I assume adding defensive line help obviously is one of those high positions, and everybody kind of values everything else probably after that.
Mhm.
What in the draft I would ask you guys, and then I'll have my own answer of what would it make it go lower for you guys as far as the off-season grades?
That's kind of hard because we have
Yeah.
we have 4
That's
picks in the top 100. It'd be if they
right.
botched
It would be hard to
it's
right
hard to
theoretically.
botch 4 picks. Like obviously, we all agree we're gonna add some type of defensive line help, whether it be edge or tackle, preferably tackle based off 31. When you get down to that 63, 66, which is the sweet spot, we would hope one of the running backs would fall. Me and D-Max guy, Quinshawn or Trayvon, which either one of those guys fall. If not, we can obviously get RJ on day 3 if he's available. DJ would probably be available in the 4th round as well. But I think those first 2 picks, if they went O tackle D line, would y'all be okay with that? Based off the guys we have on our boards.
Wait, so that's the thing. Like CJ and I, obviously, we have looked at the, and I'm not saying like Chuck and Boogie know college players too, so I'm not trying to say
I
that.
don't know college players like that. So I come to y'all
Oh,
about
no,
this.
I mean,
I
I
ain't gonna
know
lie to you.
college
I know
players,
Chuck
but-
very college.
As far as like
That's it.
positional value,
Right.
they went those
Right,
two.
right.
Would you be okay?
Yeah, like we're looking at very specific guys that maybe we would like more or less than other people that are maybe just seeing as this thing happen. So, but I would say more from a positional standpoint, offensive tackle, defensive tackle, or edge from that standpoint, people would be like, okay, those positions make sense, and we'll see how these players end up playing. But like, if it's Omarion Hampton at 31, theoretically, would that be something that'd be like, that makes it lower?
I know some people will probably feel that way because
he's better than Clyde, but I'm still not with the running back at 31. But he is.
Yeah,
better.
exactly. Because
Respect.
Because like what you saw this past end of the season, like the whole devaluing running backs thing. I mean, I'm Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs. I mean, those guys they pretty much put that to bed. But
I would like to own. Okay,
all free agents too.
I'm gonna push back on that in a second. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, you can. The point is that some people are still going to be hesitant to take a running back in the first round just because everyone's situation is different. Like, everybody doesn't have an elite offensive line. Like, run schemes are different with every team. You know what I'm saying? So that would be the reason why some people would be hesitant for the Chiefs to take a running back in the first round, and why some people would downgrade the offseason just based on that. So.
Yeah. The only thing I was going to say, specifically as far as the running back, kind of revival of sorts, is you made the point. The idea of these guys coming into better situations, Packers offensive line much better than the Raiders offensive line. The Eagles offensive line significantly better than the Giants offensive line. The Ravens offensive line, even though people had question marks about it, played significantly better than the Titans offensive line. So that's a big piece of it. Lamar Jackson helps. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith helps. Jordan Love and those wide receivers helps more than Gardner Minshew and whoever the hell, and Jacoby Myers. I don't want to be disrespectful to Jacoby Myers. And those guys help Josh Jacobs. And then the third point is, those guys, in my opinion, were free agency values, that came in as far as cap percentage was concerned, that made sense and performed it, outperformed it by a mile, which is why Saquon Barkley got a raise. So I think some of that is maybe overblown as far as the running back revival and what it can do for a team, because there are levels as far as offensive line improvements and the surroundings that really help those guys, in addition to those guys being very talented, and also the fact that they came in on bargains. But I only say that because, like, I don't know. And CJ said Omarion Hampton is definitely better than CH. It's not close to me. It's like I don't know if the opportunity cost, a first round draft pick for a running back in this specific class makes sense for me. And you would really have to hit on those other three in a way in which I would, personally be approval of, for me to not say that downgrades your offseason grade. And maybe that is, over, analyzing a draft immediately after, but that's probably something for me that would knock it down. So I was just trying to think through what possibly could happen in the draft that would necessarily make it worse for you guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw out this hypothetical scenario for you, because we talked about the Bears earlier and how they address their offensive line, right? So let's say Ashley Genty is still on the board for the Bears at 8, and the Bears take him. Do you guys see like Ashley Genty making immediate impact? I'm not saying like Derrick Henry, Saquon, and Josh Jacobs, but do you see Ashley Genty just have this breakout year just right out the gate?
Well, I think Omarion Hampton would make an impact for us too, and definitely Genty, whether it's the Bears or I don't know if it's going to be as impactful for the Raiders based on where they're kind of at. I don't know about that offensive line; still concerns me. Or is it the Broncos? Like, that would be really helpful for them too. So I think Genty is going to make an instant impact wherever he ends up going.
And there's some backs, like, overall, like, I like Omarion's game overall better than Genty's. Not to say Genty's not a great back, because he had an elite season. But coming into the season, I didn't have Genty that high as a running back on my list. He just had that incredible season, and he's getting his value worth for what production is and what he did. So congrats to him. But overall, for our situation, yes, a running back would help us, but it's not my personal pick for 31. It's just there's so many other areas of need for us. I can get just as an effective player for our offense with a guy like a RJ Harvey, a guy like a Jordan James, one of D-Mac's favorites, DJ Giddens, one of my guys. Later on in the draft, they could be just as effective in our offense, while also solidifying maybe a potential developmental tackle or maybe grabbing another defensive tackle for our defense to help Chris Jones. So helping our best players be at their best while getting our supplemental players in other secondary positions just be above average, like we've all been saying, I think is best for our team. Not necessarily taking the – now, like, best player available at 31, I've been of the mind, if Luther's there, I'm not passing on him. That's just me, just because receivers getting paid too much money. I don't want to have to pay a guy $30+ million in the next year or two. Kevin said it on time. Like, if Luther's there at 31, I'm doing it. And it's mainly just because of the value of the position. These guys are getting paid more and more money every year, and the number's not going to stop going up because passing yards aren't going to go down anytime soon. So if I can have a receiver one locked in my room for the next 7 years, that's huge for Veach, and especially the development of this roster, so we can help every other position in the room. And now we don't have to worry about paying guys and have to letting guys leave the building. So especially if Hollywood leaves at this year, you got those three guys locked in for what you got 4 years with Rasheed, 5 years with Zay, 5 years with Luther. If you did that, I would love that position way more than taking on Marion Hampton to me personally, if he's there.
And to your point about best player available at 31.
Wait, Chuck, I want to let Bug jump in because he.
Yeah, real quick, Bug, real quick. Before you do jump in, real quick.
I was just about to say, man, I got PTSD from taking the running back in the first round. I ain't gonna lie to you.
For sure,
understandable. Which is why I think that if people saw it,
I wasn't even trying to go there with it, but that was a bar. But just with all the stuff we got going on, like you said. Now, if we take a D lineman, I'm cool with that. I'll be a little disappointed if we take an experimental tackle in the first round too. To me, that would drop our grade because at this point, we can't just keep throwing stuff at the left tackle position. You got to get something that we know that's gonna be here for a couple years. I think you just said 5 different left tackles, so you already got a left tackle you signed for 2 years. Unless you saying that. And you know I'll be happy if we do this. If you just saying that he's gonna play 1 year here, then he gonna go to the right side, you gonna get rid of Juwan and you go draft. If you gonna do that, okay, cool. But I don't see him doing that. So why draft a left tackle that we not sold on? You just drafted a left tackle last year, bro, and you moving them to guard. So I don't want to do no more experimental tackles. If you go trade up, I know you saying we can't. For a good tackle, and that's understandable. Cool. So if that's not it, I'm not going to get a left tackle in the first round. Just based on what you told me. You told me we can't go get a starting left tackle. We trade up in the 20s. That's gonna be good, right?
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Well,
so saying that
it depends.
There's some debatable guys.
We are still a little bit further out to maybe nailing this down. It seems like that may be more of a possibility in this draft than it may be in other drafts. And people will have question marks as far as that's concerned. I agree with you wholeheartedly. If you go and take, and I'm going to put a name on this, and it's not necessarily like this is a guy that I feel comfortable in the second round, but if it's Ariante Arce, I don't think he's a day one starting left tackle. I don't think you can afford to take that in the first round. To Boogie's point, it has to be a guy that you feel is confident in going. Is day one going to take that job from Jalen Moore? And I know that sounds weird. You're paying Jalen Moore $15 million. Well, guess what? If Jalen Moore loses the job to a rookie left tackle that holds out the job the entirety of the year, that's great. Then Jalen Moore is an expensive swing tackle and he can take over for Jawan Taylor on the right side next year. That's a perfectly fair outcome from that standpoint. So I'm not going to be upset about that. King Mo says of Josh Simmons. This is where the information that CJ and I have draft evaluators don't have. If they feel comfortable with Josh Simmons coming in and playing left tackle based on whatever his injury recovery timeline looks like, cool, take him in round 1. If you don't, it's going to be really tough to take a tackle in round 1 that does not play for you this entire season.
Yeah, we can't do that.
I'm with Boog. I'm not with taking with guys with injury history. That shit scares the hell out of me, bro.
That either.
It's understandably so.
And it's because it's day one. It's day one, bro.
Yeah. And one more point with the running back thing that y'all already made the point. I'm not drafting another running back in the first round when we're not going to use him like that. Like, if we're not going to use him as a starting running back, what's the point? We got Kareem, we got Pacheco. I know this is probably their last years. So, and we do use 3 running backs. So but you can't take a running back in the first round when we got these type of holes we got if he's not going to be that guy. If he's going to be that guy and you like, this is your Jamal Charles, your Brian Westbrook, whatever, cool. But you said this before and we didn't get that. So
To be fair, I will only say this from this perspective. Obviously, the talent was a question mark, and obviously the injury had something to play with this. But they did play him like a Jamal Charles, Brian Rushbrook as far as touches were
Rookie year,
concerned.
he
'Cause
did
that
get
Texans game, they gave that man 25 touches. They
could.
continued to feed him throughout that season. We remember the game up in Buffalo when he went up there and ran right over him. So they did use him when they felt like they had him, obviously. But obviously, it didn't necessarily work out past that point after his injury.
No, I agree with what you're saying with that team, but I'm saying with this situation in this team, Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, we know they're going to get some bulk of the carries.
Majority.
Like, I don't feel like Clyde. We had Damian Williams and the other Darryl Williams.
Damian Darryl.
They weren't getting those type of runs attempts that these type of backs are getting. Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, you have to give them those type of carries so they can get going.
Yeah,
they need the volume. So I think the situation is a little bit different.
It is.
I'm cool with us still getting a running back. Just I don't know about first round.
First round, yeah, and that's the thing about it.
I agree with that, Mo. I agree.
I still think that ultimately, if there's a back that you draft, and the example for this among them would be Travion Henderson, because I think he fits everything that we want to do and is the
Ohio State, right?
Yep.
Ohio State.
And if you take him and then you give him the lion's share of the carries, and Pacheco is just a change of pace back, and you only bring in Kareem Hunt for short yardage. That's fine. I don't think it's the worst outcome. Like it would suck for Pacheco to have everything, theoretically taken away from him in this case before he could get paid. And I will acknowledge that from a personal standpoint. But I don't think if there's a running back that you take on day 2, specifically day 2, and he takes over the backfield, I'm not going to be upset by that outcome. I don't need Pacheco and Kareem Hunt to get a certain number of carries if we have a guy that is earning the lion's share of it from that standpoint, certainly. But I definitely agree with you, Boogie. If you're taking that guy, anywhere before 63, like even if in the scenario that you trade up in the second to go get him, you got to feature him accordingly.
Yeah, and any guy you take in that position, you're wanting to enhance your football team. Like obviously the running back at 31 would help us be better, but I feel like when you're talking about positions of need, positions that are going to help you down the road, I'm always for D tackles and receivers because that's the positions that we need immediately right now, and it's going to help us get solutions down longer term as far as the future. So, and these receivers are getting so much money, it makes too much sense not to take that guy if they fall for you, and you need a D tackle for the future because Chris Jones is not getting any younger also. And running back is just I know what Chuck said, they had amazing years, but there's just so much value, even more so in this chat. There's literally 10 running backs I could name, and that's not even the whole entire class. There's going to be guys that are undrafted that will be damn good players for someone's football team. That's just how deep the class is. We did it with Pacheco. And not to say I want to do that every single year, Boog, but if I found a running back in round 4 or 5, that's great. And then I could get a starting D tackle at 31 or another starting receiver at 31. It just helps me longer term while also filling out my roster. That's why we have like 4 picks in the top 100. So that's why it's kind of hard for us really to mess it up, D-Mac, because there's too many positions to you not to get someone at certain spots, whether it be D tackle, developmental tackle, or receiver, or running back.
Yeah, and the last time that we did have 4 picks in the top 100, it was the Trent McDuffie, George Kalafis
2022 class. We killed it. So
that done. And it's not to say that this is going to be the same because obviously it's 2. Well, I look at them as 2 second-round picks because that's essentially what the Titans pick is. It's 2 second-round picks instead of 2 first-round picks, but. Look, it could turn out pretty well.
Absolutely. Like, and then I always want to end on this point here. At the end of the day, whenever we do pick at 31, if it's best player available, which I expect it to be, I just don't think running back will even be like top 3 priority in that situation.
For sure. Not with this class.
Yeah, so like that being said, I would definitely look at like the second round. I wouldn't be mad at it, but third round that'd probably be like the sweet spot for me.
I can agree with that, Chuck. I'm with that.
So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and go into the NFL rule changes for the 2025 NFL season. So let's go ahead and start with the overtime rule. The NFL is allowing both teams to have possession of the ball in overtime, except they reduce the clock from 15 minutes to 10 minutes. So what do you guys think about that rule change for this season?
The time change was pointless. Overtime don't last that long anyway, but I mean, thank the Bills for this. This is their rule, so we don't care. This is strictly for Bills fans. We need to ask them how they feel. So they
the Josh Allen rule.
This is definitely a Josh Allen rule because we didn't make this happen at all. So
I'm cool with it, man. I'm cool with both
is.
teams getting the ball. I mean, we kind of already had 1 foot in, 1 foot out with that anyway. To me, if you go make those type of rules just for the playoffs, you might as well just make it
for the whole
all
thing.
the way through. So I'm cool with that. That one gets a passing vote for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just make it the same no matter what. Now, me personally, I'm a big fan of sudden death. I've never
Me
really
too. I
never really like the coin toss. I understand it. I get why people don't like it. Play defense. Guess what? In the 2018 AFC Championship game, we didn't deserve to go to the Super Bowl because we couldn't play defense. That's the reality situation. We had to learn that lesson, and we fixed it and came back and won the Super Bowl the next year because we did learn that lesson. So I never really minded the coin toss. It's produced some pretty funny moments over the years because of that aspect of it. And I think the current rules actually favor the person, the team that gets it second for obvious reasons, as we saw in the 49ers Super Bowl. But it is what it is. As long as you match the rules, and that's fine. It may result in a few more ties during the regular season. Oh well, we'll be all right. We understand how to do tiebreakers for a reason. So
Yeah, my thing with this rule change is this. I understand. It's just funny because, like you guys mentioned with the Bills, man. Like
they ain't the first team to lose, bro.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Like, be the last neither.
Hey, they're the first team to lose 4 straight, though.
So they're gonna show that at the end of the Hallmark movie about them losing in overtime. They show that. No,
yeah. Is that real? They about to get a Hallmark movie?
Yes,
now?
it is real.
It
I
be
imagine you're gonna see that. I assume they're gonna do that for like bunch of different teams.
They just gonna say to be continued. That's what they're gonna say.
Yeah, they're gonna.
I didn't see Buffalo had one coming. They just announced that. I didn't know that.
It's just because Josh Allen's girlfriend's a famous actor, so
he ain't gonna be anywhere near that movie. They can't afford her.
I'm just saying, bro. They gonna put a girl in there that look like her or something.
That may happen. That definitely might.
They can put a stand in or something. But go ahead, Chuck.
Hey, Bug. On a side note, man, he cut you on his phone about the T-shirts after that episode.
I did want to say this. I did want to say this real quick about John's point as far as the running. This is. I agree with you. It would be nice to allow some of those RPOs turn more into the run game. There is an aspect of obviously Mahomes is trusting himself to make the right play on a consistent basis. You have to instill confidence in your quarterback that you're going to run the ball well. And the only way to do that is to run the ball on a consistent basis and have it designed runs and allow your offensive line to move forward and actually hit people like offensive linemen like to do.
And TD Mac doing this early in the football game. Stop trying to pass and set up the run. This is not Texas Tech. You run to set up the pass in the NFL. I mean, you do it early, your O-line gets confidence. And then when you can start play action off of that, doing your RPO game, and it keeps the defensive line off balance. If you start your first 10 plays off as all passes, what do you think the rest of the game is going to be?
You can't do that. You can't do that.
That's what I'm saying. Run the ball at least 3 times, Boog. At least 4. Do something.
I keep saying that.
You got to start, and you got to do that from the jump. This is your first 15 scripted plays. Involve some runs, some jet sweeps, Boog. Do something.
I'm with you. That Super Bowl is a bad example of play call.
We're talking about overall. Yeah.
No. I'm saying I understand. Sometimes I understand Andy saying we need to pass to set up the run, knowing that we got the Ferrari. I get that, but you can't go 10 straight plays out the gate. Like, that's unacceptable. That's what I'm saying.
In a 2-week period to prepare, you're going against Vic Fangio. He knows you, bro. Like,
that's unacceptable.
That was just incompetence.
It felt too much of a carryover from what they did versus the Bills, which it made sense in the way that we were trying to attack the Bills of being able to use their speed. The Eagles don't have those issues. They don't have those issues. So
their corners.
I was disappointed from that standpoint. The only thing I will, and John, that is correct. It does.
I'm with you, John.
But also it's more so just trying to get the defense off balance, which can work, but not against certain defenses, which Philly is not one of those defenses. The other thing is, and Andy Reid knows this. He's not dumb. Like he knows more football than I'll probably ever know, or forget from that matter. But like when you start off the bus Patrick Mahomes, defenses are never going to stack the box. They're not
ever.
They are not going to defend the run.
What I'm trying to say.
You have to pass to set up the run. It's going to be set up for you for the second that 15 is under center every single time.
Your run game will be there.
Advantage of that because they're going to present those opportunities for you.
They played cover 4 shell the entire game. They didn't see a stacked box. That's why I'm saying run the ball because it's there. And when you do it from the jump, then you get Blankenship and Reed to come down. They never felt threatened at all. And on top of the fact, like Book said, we don't have any speed at running back. So you're hurting yourself in both ways. So getting a more explosive running back, actually committing to a little bit of running the football. It ain't got to be elite. Like, I ain't talking 20-plus carries a game. So I'm just talking like give Pacheco like 7. Give Kareem like the 6 or 7 on the goal line. If we do get an explosive running back in the draft like a Trey or a Jordan, give that guy like the 4 to 5 plays that we need on the first or second downs to get us to 2nd and 5, to get us to 3rd and 3. That's all I'm asking. And then let Pat be Pat. Let the Ferrari go out there and do his thing, but you got to at least help him somewhat in the first instance. If not, you're going to be behind the 8 ball in 3rd and 8 and 2nd and 12 every time. And nobody wants to do that for a whole game. You did that from the jump. And D-Mac made no adjustments. Next drive, what happened, Book? Same thing over and over again. Like, bro, you beating your head up against the wall, gang. You're not even trying.
We ain't got to talk about this Super Bowl if you don't want to, CJ. I ain't asking to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
We ain't got to talk about it.
We ain't got to talk about that no more.
Man, I don't know what he talking about, Killer. Hey, Killer, I don't know what he doing. I don't know what he doing, Killer. I don't know what he wants.
Would you tell him murder?
Murder. I don't know what he said, Killer. I ain't telling him.
Yeah, I didn't get that Super Bowl all, but anyway, just back to the overtime rules, man. Here's the thing, man. Like, both teams getting the ball, you cutting down to 10 minutes. Like, I get that because it's a regular season, like it's less important than the postseason, so you have to make that adjustment. All I know is that one team is definitely gonna try to bleed the clock and then just get up out of there with the dub. That's what's going to happen with this for the most part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's great strategy.
If you can put together that 11 and 12 play drive, in my opinion, good for you. You should be, if you can.
You get an 8-minute plus drive.
Absolutely. You should
deserve to win that game.
More credit to you.
Yeah. So like D-Mac said, hey man, defense is just they're gonna have to adjust. They really just gonna have to strap it up in overtime. If they want to get the other team the ball back. So I'm just interested to see how that's gonna play out, but I just don't think it's gonna make too much of an impact, honestly. So
yeah, the only thing that I think would end up happening is just you might see a little bit more ties. That's really the only thing.
Yeah, it's a possibility for sure. So here's the other rule. So with the kickoff rule, if you kick it out of the end zone, they're gonna move it up to the 35-yard line. Instead of the 30, they moved it up to the 35. And look, this my thing, man. Like,
35.
I hate to say it.
Bringing up here, it's just me.
Bring Chuck back.
He keeps saying he hates to say it. Oh, okay.
The offense already.
My fault, Chuck. I didn't.
Yeah, because the offense. Look, the offense already has enough advantages as it is in today's game. And it's like we get to the point where they starting to lean more towards the casual fan. You know what I'm saying? Like the casual fan that don't really care. Oh, okay, all right. So it is leaning more towards. It's been leaning towards more the casual fans, but you kind of take away the purity. You take away the purity of the game, man. Like, I know everybody is not to details and all this other stuff. People are more into fantasy football more than ever and all that good stuff. But you're gonna get to a point where you're gonna ruin the quality of sport. And like the NFL, they've been getting away with it for a very long time now. Like the NFL is still the king. Ratings and all that stuff.
That sound like LeBron.
Why we got to talk about this guy on the show, man? Why we got to talk about this guy on the show, man?
Hey, Rondo and both did it at the same time.
That was crazy.
They did it at the same time. That's funny.
My fault, man. I ain't talk to you in a minute. I couldn't hear myself. I'm sorry.
He ain't got nothing to do with the football field.
Oh God.
But with that being said, bro,
I just feel like the NFL is doing too much with this one. I'm like, dog.
The 35 is crazy. You could
So
be
the
at that play, be at the 50.
So
Like it's tough to play defense now. Like
You
you
could
got
be at the 50 boy on one play.
we
That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah,
gotta get a little bigger advantage.
Oh,
one first down for real. We
Bro,
talked
like,
about this
boop, boop.
on Tell the Truth, and it's just funny that they decided to do this for a kind of an entertainment aspect that you were talking about, Chuck. Is that they want to encourage kickoffs because it makes special teams right now kind of a non-play because teams are just kicking out of the back of the end zone. So I understand why they're doing it for entertainment purposes. It's just like, okay, well, it's going to make it a little bit harder for defenses and maybe
Take a lot of overs next year, Chuck. Take a lot of overs.
Yeah, and we'll see if the kickers can be kind of creative in trying to pin teams from that perspective. But I mean, I understand why they decide to do it. It's just all right. It's interesting, especially in the context of the push stuff.
Man,
Hey,
I'm a dinosaur because I don't like that they switched it last year to how it was last year. I don't think they should have ever messed with it. To
They
me,
wanted
this is doubling down on it and making it worse. So I'm not a fan of that.
Boog, how do you feel that? I think it's funny. Jalen Hurts is, we all agree, probably the strongest quarterback in the league. Needs
sure.
other grown men to push him when Tom Brady has like the most QB sneaks of all time, and he's like the most unathletic quarterback ever. I think that's hilarious.
Let me ask all y'all because I didn't see if it was official. So the tush push is done, correct?
It's still good for now.
It's still good. It is still good.
They decided not to vote on it, and they'll table it and possibly vote on it.
They didn't have enough teams. You got to have 24. They got 16 votes.
Yeah.
Hold on. You said they go vote on it in May?
They may vote on it in May.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm not being biased because I'm a Chiefs fan. I think we should get rid of the tush push stuff.
I mean, we beat them with this. It don't matter to me. I just think it's funny how they need it. I'm like, he squats 600 pounds, right? I'm like, all right.
And he do. That's a strong boy. But
no, he is. Then show me.
And it ain't even about the Chiefs that I'm saying this either, though. But the
Yeah,
game
for everybody.
before the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Remember, dude kept jumping over, and they was talking about they was gonna give them the point. I'm like, come on, man. Now we're getting to the point. It's like, come on, we got to do something about that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion. The reason why it initially came out that the Packers were going to be a very specific rule about pushing guys from behind in this formation or whatever when you align it, you can't make the rule that specific. You have to just say offensive people can't push each other in the back the same way the defensive players can't push each other in the back, which would affect those kind of quote unquote pile-ups. But that's the only way that you can play your safety your way into banning the tush push. The other way would be, hey, for the entertainment purpose of the game, we're banning this aspect of the play, but you can't really make that argument from a competitive standpoint. It's not really going to stand up from that aspect. So in my opinion, if you want to ban pushing players in the back in general, then you probably can get it passed. From what Nate Taylor said, it's just more of the block is hot type of thing. So maybe they're going to try and quietly pass it in May. So we'll see what ends up happening. But I didn't like the way that they presented it. I don't think that it should be banned unless you can make the argument across the board that you shouldn't be pushing guys. But from an entertainment standpoint, I agree. Definitely, it's not entertaining. And to Boog, your point, when the defense is doing everything under the sun, and including Chris Jones lining up sideways and he ended up hurting his neck on that play, then yeah, I understand why people probably don't want it to continue on.
I think the way to get it, if you were trying to get it banned based on what you said, just from me listening, is they need to figure out player safety wise. If they could come up with something,
that was the original thing for sure.
Player safety wise, this is not gonna work. You could get it passed a little easier. That
was the original point of this,
and that was
suggestion.
That was the thing. Okay. They wanted to see data to say that this was
there were more injuries on this play.
And they couldn't do it. They couldn't come up with the data to support it. So that it's going to be very difficult from that aspect. Now, if you just say, hey, we're matching the defensive rules, we can't push players in the back in general. Now, of course, this is going to affect plays outside of just the tush push. This is going to be, I mean, it really, the only
not
time.
Really, because like how many times really outside of a guy
you guys
can
correct me. That's the thing. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but the only time that I really think of guys pushing each other from behind is
when you stepped on the goal.
When you have the stand up and the offensive lineman trying to finish and push him. Yeah, so that's the only way that I really see that affecting it. Which is
those are a handful of plays. Doesn't really happen.
I don't really care if you get rid of it from that standpoint.
Exactly.
But like to me, that would be the argument that you would probably have to make get it passed in this circumstance, because they're apparently what we're hearing is they can't find the data to support it from the player safety.
And I'm not mad at Philly for doing
That
a rule
makes
like
sense.
they're not exploiting it because it's legal. Like they can do the
No.
rule. I just think
I'm
it's
not
funny
mad at
how
Philly
they
one
do
bit.
it based off who they are.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at Philly.
If they do what they do, it's not a rule breaker. You're good. I just think it's hilarious that Philly does it and they quote unquote say we have the best offensive line. All right, then show me.
Yeah.
Then you don't
If
need
Philly,
to have
if
grown
Philly
men.
want
I
to be
agree
the
with that,
city
too.
of brotherly bumping tushes,
If you that nice,
that's
then
what
show
they
me
gotta
then.
do.
You say he's the strongest in the league. Show me then.
They want to booty bump their way up
You
and
got
down the
Saquon.
sideline.
You don't need nobody to push you, right? Especially you doing it. You doing it for a foot, gang. It's like, all right, bro. You acting like you pushing them. Like you doing it for a foot. You need Jalen Hurts to get help. All right, bro. All right.
Like I said, we beat them with while they were doing it.
We beat them. I ain't tripping. I just think it's funny how they saying, what y'all crying about the rule for? You keep telling me how your old line's so good, Philly fans, and show me. You keep saying how good they are. All right, then you shouldn't need nobody to push you for a foot. A foot. Look, I'm not asking you for 10 yards. I'm asking you for a foot.
Booty bump is
That's what
nasty.
she said.
Booty bump is nasty.
Booty bump is crazy.
That's what
Hella crazy.
they be doing, man.
But but like the tush push, man, it's not a big deal to me because look, it was less effective with Cam Jurgens than with Jason Kelsey over this past season. Yeah, they won the Super Bowl and all that. And CJ, to your point, yeah, I do remember the Tom Brady sneaks. I mean, Tom Brady, like,
classic, bro. Like he ain't need nobody to push.
yeah.
He just say, go.
he didn't need nobody to push him.
He was
So
just
get
very
it.
smart about it. He knew where exactly the little.
He knew where the gap was.
he knew where the gap was.
He
He
knew
knew which gap
wherever
to
he
take.
was, you go opposite, and I'm gonna go with
everything you need to do.
you. Exactly.
And he
Yeah,
also
so,
he didn't rely upon doing it when it was 2 yards out.
Yeah, like he only do it in certain situations.
Yeah, when it was
Exactly.
Are you
So,
going to
yeah.
go to a different subject real quick, Chuck, or are we
Wrapping up.
I wanted to show something real quick because I did find this pretty funny.
I want to talk one more thing
sorry.
real quick before we move on to a different subject. So have y'all addressed it? It was fake, King Mo. It was fake.
It was fake. Yeah, it was fake. That was fake.
Who the hell trading for Dallas got it?
Yeah, ain't nobody trade, man.
Right. It was
They
fake.
ain't hurt.
Yeah, but
That's why the Eagles are trying to get rid of him.
so Sony is collaborating with the NFL with the Hawkeye technology to back up, I guess, like as another.
Now, this is the
alternative
bill
to the
specific
Jenkins.
rule change of this year.
Lord, because they swear they got that first down. They swore they got that first down, man. So like, do y'all think the NFL is doing too much, or do y'all think this technology is needed at this point? Because I feel like this could turn into like VAR type of stuff with soccer.
Again, why are we making rule changes for the Bills if they lose?
Well, you
It's
know
always
why.
it's always them. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
bro. Like,
that is crazy though.
they not the first team to get their heart broken. They're not gonna be the last. Stop changing the rules just because they lost the game. You lost.
But I will say I'm cool with the technology. I'm cool with that. But hold on, they using it. They introducing the technology, but it's not going in effect this year, right?
It is going into effect.
We are
It's going to affect this year.
They doing it now.
So if the ball is off and on the technology, it says it's on, it's gonna go.
The
That's
chain
what-
guys
They
are the
just
backup.
using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the chain
But-
guys are backups.
The
The
camera
chain
is
guys-
your first.
So, yeah, the chain
Oh,
is
really? I didn't
the
know
chain
that.
is- yeah, so the chain is going to continue to be there as a backup, but they are going to go
The
with
confirmation
sliding the
will
ball
come.
according to the electronics.
Got you. Okay.
VAR, baby.
And
If
I
it's
don't.
gonna give us some more accurate, I'm with it. If it's gonna be more accurate,
I get
I
it.
am
It's just
too.
I'm mad
I
it
am
came
too if
after-
it's
I'm just
really
mad it came
good
after
for
the
the Bills
Bills.
thing.
It's always they
Yeah.
bum ass. It's always them.
I'm
That's-
with it as long as it works.
Come on, bro. Like
From what we heard previously was that it wasn't ready yet. So if it
it's
is
ready now. I wonder why.
Right. If
Bum asses,
it's
bro, like-
ready, if it's ready and it works and it's accurate, cool with me. I don't have any issues with it, but it's just got to be ready to work. Because if
Hey,
it
Book,
doesn't
you think
work,
they gonna put it
then
in the
you're gonna
Hallmark
continue to
movie?
have issues.
Yeah, that's definitely going to the Hallmark movie.
If we would have had a camera, look, he had a first down. Look, it's
Man.
all on my camera.
That's got to be in the Hallmark movie. They definitely gotta put that in
The Hallmark Chiefs tradition was about a hat that was at every single Super Bowl party that we ended up winning the game, and the Bills Super Bowl, the Bills Hallmark tradition is going to be something that's there for every time they have to get
The family
gold
gonna
chains because
bond
they
over
keep
losses.
losing.
Hey, we bonded over every time we lost to the Chiefs.
It's going to be a
That's gonna be
traveling
fun.
pen. It's going to be a traveling pen for each one of the
A
winter
traveling
meetings that
table
they
that
have
get
to go
broke.
to. That they have to change a rule because the Bills lost the previous.
Well,
tra-
they got
traveling
2-3
L.
up now.
Hey, the first generation handed 4 Super Bowl L's. The next generation handed 4 Chiefs L's. They just passed them down the next generation.
Oh no, I ain't going that far, King Mo. Hold on, man.
Yeah, I'm not quite there yet. I'm not quite
I
there.
ain't going there.
Both fan bases are funny, Philly.
It's the same thing that I've always said. A rivalry is when you
actually win from the other side. You gotta win.
Right.
I don't look at the Bills as rivals. They
don't win.
Our hammer at this.
And the Ravens neither. Y'all don't beat us
Bengals
neither. It's
are
only the
Ravens,
Bengals, bro, for sure.
That's the reality.
And I'm really that Bengals that may be lost after this year because they may not make the playoffs.
Well,
If they don't make the playoffs this year, that's over. We'll talk.
They didn't get in. They didn't get in with no defense, and I ain't seen Trey Henderson get signed back. So I don't know what the hell you think gonna change now.
Well, if we see them this year, we'll have to be in the playoffs
Because we don't play them in the regular season. So first time in a while.
About time we took a break from him.
I know.
But anyhow, yeah,
they took a break from us by not winning the division.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. It's not a guarantee they get in.
But D-Mac, go ahead and pull up the screen, man. What she's gonna show us next.
Yeah, I was just because Warren Sharp had tweeted out as far as the 4th and 1 conversion rate the last 3 years, which again doesn't include 3rd and shorts or anything. I guess obviously longer than 4th and 1. I thought it was just funny the fact that the Chiefs have been able to accomplish.
We hired in Philly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we've been able to do this, which again,
that's why people complain. We convert a lot of 4th downs, bro. I know we be whining the ones we don't get, but it's
doing this without the tush push is one thing. Just doing it without QB sneaks in general is crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we don't quarterback sneak ever.
I wouldn't guess we would be up that high on 4th and 1. I wouldn't
have either.
But you want to know what's even crazier? The top 3 teams are in the AFC. No, it's top Rams, 2. My bad. That's Rams. My fault.
But the funny thing is, it's
like Denver though.
It's always. I know we get upset by like the 1 or 2 4th downs we don't get during the year, but this shows most of the time that's why I be telling Chuck when we need to get it, we get it. It's just annoying when we have like a meaningless game in the middle of the season when we don't do it. But when it's playoffs or money time when it's 4th and short bug, we get that shit. That's what I'm saying. We do it.
That 92 Mo is crazy. Like
that's Kyron Williams. That's all Kyron.
But where Stafford does sneak, he does. And I think there is something to be said for Stafford being a veteran quarterback that understands how to QB sneak in the right situation.
And he's almost 40 years old. He out there quarterback sneaking.
Yeah, but damn, I wouldn't have guessed that. I wouldn't have guessed you had 3 teams over Philly and Denver being one of them. The Chiefs being, I wouldn't have guessed that.
No, I saw this during regular season. I wasn't shocked because it's just we get those couple of during the year that we don't get and we get pissed as fans. But when it's money time, I've told Chuck this, when it's in the playoffs and it's 4th and short, we get that help. It's just only when it's January. In the regular season, we be bullshit. Like those little couple of games during the year. 89% is a high ass number, bro.
That hella high. I would have took the under.
No, yeah. If we asked all the fans, they would definitely take the under. They saw this for sure.
Yeah. But this is another reason why I'm just like, man, I don't really care what they do with the tush push. Like I'm not making a big deal about it because it can be stopped. We
smack them next time we see them anyway. I ain't tripping about them bums.
Yeah, it can be stopped, but I'm definitely with I wouldn't be mad if they banned it. I am flabbergasted. We was on that. I couldn't believe that. I ain't gonna
I don't care one way or the other. Like I said, we beat them while they were doing it, and we've lost to them when they didn't have to do it. So
it ain't gonna make or break our Super Bowl run if they got the tush push or not.
Because we're gonna beat them next time we see them anyway.
Yeah, but as a football fan, I would like it to be gone. But I'm
for sure. It's not football to me, in my opinion. Like we stopped in college. And look, they're not breaking a rule, but
the Eagles didn't beat the Rams because of the tush push. They beat the Rams because Jalen Carter destroyed the Rams interior offensive line when it mattered most. They didn't beat the Commanders because of the tush push. No, it's because they took the ball away from the Commanders. So yeah, I truly don't think that the tush push is this big determining factor for how the Eagles success specifically is, or the rest of the NFL is concerned. It's just a play that people don't like to see because it's not all that entertaining, which is understandable. Yeah. But you have to make a better argument for it. It appears for it to get past.
As a football purist, I don't want to see it, but I get it. It's not breaking.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. It's not football to me. Like you can't do it in college, you can't do it in high school. Why are we allowing the best players in the world to do it?
What happened to the game we love, man?
That is a fact.
Is there a rule against that? You can't push offensive players in college. Okay.
You can't do that in college.
Reggie Bush.
Because like Yeah, because I remember they let USC get that off when Reggie Bush pushed
The
Matt
Bush
Lyon.
by Bush. Remember that shit? They was all complaining about
Yeah.
the game versus Notre Dame, so you can't do this shit.
Yeah.
So I get it. I'm not mad at Philly fans. I just think it's hilarious how they claim to have this offensive line and Jalen Hurts being all world. I'm like, well, then go for a foot. It doesn't really matter.
Shit, you got the best running back too. Shit, hand that
You guys,
motherfucker off.
thank you, Bill. You need a foot, right? You need a foot. I'm not asking you to get 10 yards. You feel me? So, yeah, that's right, Chris.
Head smush, cheese by 7. I'm with you, Chris. Fuck it.
Bush, Chiefs by 7, man. Chiefs money line.
Yeah, old friend Michael Burton. All right, so like the notable rule changes, replay assistance, they expanded that, and then they flexed. They flex in Thursday night games. Like I guess the timetable changes, so teams can wait a little longer to decide on flexing a Thursday night game. So,
good.
But you still only get to get flex
one
as a
time.
team at a time. So
that's cool, man. We can work with that, but we got too many bad Thursday night games, bro. Like,
and believe me, Al Michaels
is always an ugly game.
Al Michaels is so happy. I promise you.
All of our Thursday night games
shout out Al Michaels.
Ugly wins.
They also got rid of a provision that if you have been in the playoffs the last 2 years, that you are exempt from Hard Knocks. So that also expands. It's just now if you have a first year coach or you're slated to do, or you're a part of a division that's going to be a part of the NC.
Dang it! I wanted to see the Steelers.
Hold on, you said if you in the division at what?
So the only two exceptions now are if you have a first year head coach, or if you are slated to be in a division that's going to be a part of the end season Hard Knocks.
Oh, okay.
They got an off-season one. They have a training camp, and they got the end season.
Well, the Giants ruined the off-season one. We are not going to have an off-season one at least this year.
I'm surprised we even got it in the first place.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That to me that was kind of
like, what are you going to talk about? Hey guys,
it was pointless to do that.
It was extremely entertaining to see how the Giants.
It was a Saquon drama.
That's why they picked.
Right, the Saquon thing. They gave away too much about their offseason.
Are we really going to pay a running back $20 million? Yes, freak dummy.
That was the only entertaining part, and then like. And then like when they talked about the possibility of them signing Chris Jones, I mean, I actually laughed at that. That part.
We got Chris Jones, one of the top free agents on the market, disruptor. We have to get him here.
Yeah, sure. Buddy.
We have to get him in the building. You got
that was comedy.
Worry about paying him, buddy.
Sure.
I'm talking about Chris Jones.
That was comedy to me.
No, but like having the Steelers on Hard Knocks would have been pure gold this year. I'm so pissed we don't get them on Hard Knocks, bro. I'm mad as hell. Those are the Steelers.
Oh my God!
Put the Giants on Hard Knocks. Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston quarterback.
I need
all of it.
I mean, but the Steelers would have been so funny, bro. Hearing George and DK, that shit would have been pure gold, bro. Every week.
Shit.
Oh my God!
Hey man, what would
have been pure comedy.
Wait, hold on. What did Paul Pierce say?
I get to see
y'all just giving me a taste. I need the whole thing.
Oh God,
that's nuts. That is nuts.
Russell Wilson
could have used.
I need a Big Brother style 24-hour camera stream on that quarterback room. That's what I need of them two in that room together.
Yeah, they gonna be preaching. That need to be on Sundays. They need to have that Sundays before the game. Let them pray.
They pregame huddle is gonna be lit.
Oh my goodness.
Who doing the prayer this week, Russ? You got it.
Oh, it's gonna be so funny.
I'm gonna be there for him. I'm gonna lift him up.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, that Giants team is gonna be crazy,
bro. That's what them and the Steelers got to be on TV, bro. They both gonna be. Pickens and DK crash out every week, or seeing Russ and Jameis pray.
I can't wait to
win.
see.
It's a win-win either way, bro.
Especially if the Steelers don't get a average quarterback,
bruh.
Oh my! Can you imagine them having a beta as a quarterback with them too?
Oh my goodness!
Oh my God, bro!
I'm really trying to figure out what they're doing at quarterback, man.
It's gonna be
really
trying.
It's gonna be
Aaron Rodgers.
What else are they gonna do?
Pat McAfee is doing an event.
They already said he's making his announcement on the show.
He's on next Wednesday. He's having an event live in Pittsburgh on Wednesday night.
Come on, bro.
He's going to sign Aaron. Aaron Rodgers is going to sign.
He brought there for a visit. They said the ball's in his court. So basically,
okay.
Next week.
He got to take. He's still on his shroom retreat. He'll be back next week.
You know how he out in Cali for a bit. He gonna sign next week. But yeah, I agree with you guys. It would still be very entertaining. I think the NFC East makes a lot of sense if they want to do that division for the in-season Hard Knocks. all black QBs. Obviously, the Giants is going to be entertaining because of the two quarterbacks alone, but obviously the Cowboys are always entertaining. And then, the Commanders and Eagles are good teams, actually. So I think that would be a good
NFC East is cool. I mean, as a football head, I want to see the NFC North just because that's the best division right now, top to bottom.
I'm with
Yeah,
you.
that'd be fun.
So,
absolutely.
That would be cool.
I'm with you with the Steelers.
But for entertainment purposes, like,
with you
it
with
was
the
the
Steelers,
AFC North a year too early because, God, they should have got it this year. That would have been so much fun.
I'll tell you what, George Pickens, DK Metcalf, and Aaron Rodgers. That's
Bruh.
gonna be
Oh, my
we get to
God.
see the Bengals crash out after every game they lose 42-45. It's
All right,
so
so-
pure.
so-
But I don't think they're going to
You see
do
what
the
I'm
division
saying,
one.
bro?
I don't think they're going to do the division one again with the AFC
That would have been
North,
so
but
good for
it
this
would've
year,
been-
though. I'm like,
yeah,
why did they do
it
it
would've
last
been
year?
funny.
Fuck, it would have been perfect.
That would have been
CJ,
nice.
yeah, CJ talking about it should have been somebody else last year. I mean, this
The
year,
AFC North this year would have been
AFC
perfect.
North this year would have been crazy.
Oh my God,
That would have been nice for sure.
But
You get to see
speaking of,
Lamar, like, you gonna lose in the playoffs again?
but your point about the NFC East, man. I mean, that I think that would be a good one. And speaking of the NFC East, like you saw that Joe Milton got traded to the Cowboys.
I seen that.
As the backup.
They traded a fifth round pick to go get dark skinned Trey Lance. Why not just keep Trey Lance?
And they got a 7th round back. They traded 7th and a 5th.
That's crazy.
7th for a 5th to get Joe Milton. So
So
You have
That's
a
right.
strong arm, young quarterback that can move. It's Trey Lance. That's exact. You had him. Why trade a fifth for it?
this lets you know Dak ain't gonna be there.
yeah, I was about to say
Dak
about
ain't
say
about to be there.
Sure.
I'm about to say D. I'm
Exactly.
about to say
They about to move
Dak
off
about to
that.
get pushed out the door.
Oh God, what the hell you trade for Joe Milton? You still got Trey Lance on the roster for? What the hell is this for?
I assume that Trey's probably gonna. Is he still on the roster? Or is he free?
Nah, Trey Lance, he actually signed with the CFL team. I don't think he's in the NFL.
Okay, so he's
I
gone.
thought he was
Damn.
on the roster.
Yeah,
I don't
he-
understand it. I truly don't. There's no meaningful difference between Trey Lance and Joe Milton as far as a developmental, unproven quarterback, in my personal opinion. Except one.
Definitely not moving no
was
pick for
one
Joe
with the
Milton.
Cowboys.
That's stupid and stuff. I'm not doing that shit.
So that one star by Joe Milton was just a fluke, basically.
Yes.
I mean, Joe Milton's not the starting quarterback in the league. I mean, he's a backup.
He was playing the C-level Buffalo Bills. They pulled guys off the street and set
It's
all
the
their guys because
preseason.
they
Who
didn't need to
cares?
play.
Oh
And-
my
and-
God.
I'm not saying that Joe Milton doesn't have tools or whatever, but wait, okay, I'm getting Joe Milton and Jalen Milroe mixed up at some point, but I haven't yet. But
They the same person.
there's no
He's not
point.
that much
It's
different.
Trey Lance. That's what he is. I
Not
don't
that
get
much
it. I don't understand why they had to go out and do so. But shout out to the Cowboys.
I was about to say, come on, man, it's the Cowboys. We're not gonna do that, bro. we know this shit don't matter to them, man. It's about us talking about them right now. So that was
Yes.
a good trade for them because
Absolutely.
you talking about them right now.
Absolutely.
We got clicks and views.
That's all. That's it, man. James Jones said Dak should be worried. Dak should be worried, period, because he's not playing up to par.
Dak had another beautiful
Didn't have-
baby. He's a father. He ain't worried about y'all.
He didn't have a good start to the year, but he still got a lot of money in the bank, and as long as he's
Oh,
healthy,
yeah.
even if it's not the Cowboys, like somebody's going to pay him
Oh, for
a
sure,
lot
for
of
sure.
money. So if
sure.
the Cowboys don't want to,
Man.
somebody else will.
The Steelers are paying him.
Man, Dak already got the paper, man. So
Yeah.
it don't even
Yes.
matter at this point.
And I still do think that Dak is a good quarterback for the record, but it's just he didn't have a good start to last year.
He an upgrade for somebody else's team. They definitely gonna sign
Yeah.
him for sure.
Very true.
Yeah,
You know
Yeah, I
what?
mean, I
I
saw-
thought the Raiders should have did that, to be honest, over Geno, but
I didn't mind the Geno trade for the Raiders. They traded at their round. I thought the Steelers should have traded for Geno.
I'm glad the Raiders traded for Geno. Now
I like
that.
Dak better going there.
If the Giants know that they had to save their jobs because of the quarterback situation,
like
I
this
would have
crazy
traded for
country,
Geno
bro.
over Russ and Jameis.
But he been there before, right?
Yes,
we-
yeah.
Who you
that's a
talking
good
Geno
about?
Geno was
Yeah.
he was with the
They
Giants
did.
before, right?
They did kind of
Earlier on,
yeah.
was there. So that's why
Yeah.
it probably wasn't a realistic option. But
Yeah.
again, I still think that they need to save his job.
He said,
So
"I ain't
if
going
he
back."
would have been willing to play for him, then I would have gone that route because that was the best quarterback to change teams this offseason, in my opinion.
But I understand why the Raiders went that route because like Geno
Pete
was there when Geno was there when Pete Carroll. Geno was in Seattle when Pete Carroll was still in Seattle, and
Yeah.
Pete was like right at the end, and Pete felt like he had a good rapport with Geno. It didn't last long because they essentially let Pete go from
Yeah.
Seattle, so they trying to finish what they started in that standpoint. So
Anytime INT. Appreciate you, Geno.
Yeah.
Man.
I ain't even gonna cap with you, bro.
Speaking of, man.
Yeah, he
Speaking
gonna
of,
force.
man.
He forcing that shit to Brock Bowers. I'm telling you that right now. I'm betting the house on that when we see them.
Speaking of, dog, man. Shout out to the good people on the Dog Fantasy, man.
You dig
When
me?
you use that promo code Kingdom Cast, you can deposit up to $1,000 in bonus credits. You do that, you get up to $1,000 bonus credits back. So for those who don't have Underdog Fantasy, you can download it on the App Store or Google Play. Use that promo code Kingdom Cast, all in one word.
And make sure
And
you
then
follow Bet the House. You dig?
And also follow this page too. Like if you don't have playback, download playback on the Apple Store or Google Play. So we're gonna be doing NFL draft coverage on that channel, and be on the lookout because we may do some shows on there prior to the NFL draft. So be on the lookout. Follow that. Turn your notifications on at playback.tv/KingdomCast. All right. So with that being said, man, anything else y'all want to cover before we get up out of here for the night?
Only thing, two things. One, follow the Kingdom Cast Twitter account. We're going to continue to do our fan mock drafts throughout, really leading up to the draft. We'll have different ones, but still have that one live as far as polls that you guys can vote on. So we do a little bit of fan stuff. And then the other thing is, tell the truth. We did our Chiefs fits 2 weeks ago as far as the episode then. This week, I did my top defensive tackles, offensive tackles, and running backs. And then obviously, CJ and DG are going to come out covering the other positions in the subsequent weeks. And obviously, we'll do a mock draft episode too. So definitely be on the lookout for Tell the Truth Tuesdays.
Yes, sir. All right. So with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share on social media platforms. If you're watching on Twitter, don't forget to retweet and like the post so you let people know where you watch it from. And until next time, we out, Chiefs Kingdom.